today we are going to today we're going to talk about legs and leg fundamentals. So maybe before we do that, why don't we just find ourselves nice seated, find our bodies. You can rock your sits bones side to side. Roll your shoulders out, readjust your clothing, whatever you need to do to totally land here. And we're just going to take 3 deep breaths into the belly. Deep breath in, filling up as full as you can. And on your exhale, sigh it out. Again, inhaling, filling up with nourishing oxygen. And on the exhale, make a sound. Let it go. Anything from your day or your week that isn't serving you, just let it go on the exhale. One more breath here. Beautiful. And we'll inhale, reach the arms out and up, big stretch up. And exhale, hands to prayer. So we've arrived and we're going to talk about our legs. So who knows what the psoas muscle is? No one. Great. The psoas is one of the many muscles that's involved in your core. It's the only muscle that attaches to your legs to your spine. So it's where walking meets breathing. It comes along the inside of legs, through the pelvic floor, and into the lower back. So it's kind of up in there. And this muscle activates when you're stressed. What it's meant for is, stress state, fight or flight, everything acts up and you're ready to run. And this whole area just goes. The problem is a lot of us are stressed and we aren't running or doing anything with that energy. And we tend to be hyper contracted in through the hips and in through the hip flexors, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting, office work, driving, all that kind of stuff. And so what we're going to learn to do is start to activate the legs, releasing the hip flexors as much as possible and bringing more work into the back of the legs, which tend to be underdeveloped also if you're sitting a lot. So we're going to come over to our side. And you can lie on your elbow or down here, wherever feels good for you. I'm going to be propped up just so I can see. Bottom knee can be bent. And this isn't an exercise, it's just an exploration. So first what we're going to do is we're going to rotate that top leg out like you're a ballerina. So the toe is pointing more towards the sky. You've got this outward rotation, so that comes from the outer thigh, and we're just going to lift from there. And notice what that feels like, just feeling that top. You should feel really all in through the quad, those external rotators, right? And so that's really getting into that hip flexor. Now we're going to rotate the opposite way. So flex the foot and rotate down. And it's not just the foot, it's actually coming from the hip, rotating all the way in. And now lift from the heel, from the back of the leg. And notice how that sends the work into the glute and the back of the leg. Does everyone feel that? Yeah, good. And you can just flip over to your other side and just check that out on the other side. So we're going to rotate out like a ballerina, point the toe, feel the lift from the front of the leg, from the quad, from that hip flexor, and then flip the leg around, flex the foot, and rotate inwards and reach from the back of the leg and feel how that sends the work into the back of the leg. Right. And so we're doing a leg lift both ways here, but you're using really different muscles depending on where you've rotated the leg. So just notice that and keep that in mind. And we're just going to come onto our elbows here. You can do this on your back, but this is just kind of nice to be able to see from here. So this, what we're going to do is release the leg, and you're going to do this every time you come into an exercise. So I'm going to exaggerate it here. On the inhale, I'm going to extend the hip, like the femur bone, this big bone here. I'm going to extend it out of the hip socket and lift from the back of the leg. So this is me lifting from the front of the leg. If I don't think about it, it's just up here. It gets all crunchy right in through the front. If I add this extension, I'm reaching the bone through the flesh. Notice how my leg elongates, and then I'm lifting from the back. Of course, your front muscles are still going to engage, but that feeling of almost scooping under and up like you're reaching through length. So just trying that, inhaling, reach up and up, and exhale down. Now, I'm exaggerating this so you can see, but you actually don't want to move the pelvis. So I'm not extending my pelvis out. I'm keeping the pelvis in neutral and just reaching that top leg bone, the femur bone, out of the hip socket. Like you're just giving it a little bit of space. And you're imagining that you've got a ball right at this hip joint and you're reaching around the ball. So rather than just straight up like this, you're reaching out and over, creating a bit of a scooping action to release the hip. Does everyone feel that difference? I see a couple nods. Say something if you don't feel that. So that is where we want to be lifting from the leg. We're releasing that hip joint and taking a little pressure out of the hip joint. So we're going to come back up. And we're going to bring this into our leg pull front back support, which we did last class. So we're going to take our hands, rotate them out towards the side. So we're plugging into the shoulder blades. Now from here, just start to find your Pilates breath. So we're going to inhale into the ribs and exhale, draw the navel in and up. Imagine that you're fogging a glass with your breath. So on the inhale, you're inhaling through the nose. And on the exhale, you're drawing your navel in and up, connecting to your deep core. With every inhale, send your breath into your ribs. Keep sucking your belly button in, even on the inhale. And exhaling. Good. One more breath here. Keep your transverse abdominis engaged, that corset muscle that wraps around your lower back. On your exhale, we're going to lift up onto our arms here. So keeping that spine in neutral, so you don't have to come all the way up, but you're keeping the back long. We're going to breathe in through the nose. On the exhale, extend the leg, but think of that scooping action of releasing the leg when you come out. Inhaling center and exhaling to extend. Inhaling center and exhale, reaching out and up. So imagine like you're lifting with the back of the leg instead of from the hip flexor. Beautiful. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears by plugging the shoulder blades in and down. So those of you who were in last class, remembering your arm foundation, super important here. Basis of this exercise. Do one more on each side. And then lower down with control and release the hands. You can shake them out if you like. We're going to do a second set. You can do the exact same thing or full extension with the legs. So again, rotating the shoulders in, back, and down, fingertips towards the corners. Take a breath into your ribs. And exhale, lift the hips. Good. If you're in full extension here, keep your chin forward. We're going to inhale into the ribs, keep your belly button sucked in, and on the exhale, extend one leg up. Inhaling down and exhaling up. Try not to drop the hips as you do this, so you're keeping that spine in neutral. You're not sinking in down through the shoulders, so you're really pressing through the fingertips and keeping the shoulder blades plugged down the back. And we're going to change the breath on this leg kick. We're going to go inhale, inhale, exhale. Point, point, and down. So kick, kick, release. Two more. Make sure you're evened up on both sides. Take a breath. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. Inhale, reach the arms up and over. Bow, scoop the belly out. Little spine stretch, rounding through the spine here. Inhale to come up. And exhale, release the arms down. Nice. We're going to come into our V set. So bringing the feet on the floor. Now take the hands out beside you, fingertips out beside you. And here, remembering our V-sit, so different from a C-sit, so we're not curling back, we're staying tall and just hinging at the hips. So using a little bit more of the back muscle, keeping nice and tall, and you can take that deeper or more shallow, depending on how you're feeling today. And now watch the popping of your belly. Your belly's gonna wanna pop out, draw it in, and then breathe into your ribs. Good, and we're gonna remember that scooping action with the hip. So on the inhale, we're gonna extend out the hip. Just imagine growing longer with your femur bone, and then lift up and inhale down. Exhale to lift and inhale down. So here you're gonna really notice it's going to start to feel like there's a lot of work coming in through that front of the hip flexor. So really extending out and lifting from the back will release some of the pressure on the front there. And you can see I'm almost doing a little scoop with the leg, extending out and then up. And I've actually switched the breath. It doesn't really matter, inhale or exhale up, whatever feels more natural to you. I'm just gonna keep that Pilates breath in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Okay, take a breath here. Exhale, roll up. You can bring the soles of the feet together and just release the hips. Give them a massage or bounce them out, whatever you need to release there. Good. We're gonna try that one more time. Just coming into our teaser position. So we're gonna take the hands back, take a breath into your ribs, and on your exhale, hinge back, keeping nice tall spine. Now you can do one leg and then the other leg, or both legs at once. We're going to inhale and then exhale, bring the one leg up, inhaling, and then the other leg up, and see if you can balance here on your fingertips and on your sits bones. Good. If it feels better to glue the legs, you can totally do that, keeping long through the spine here. And then maybe see if you can extend those legs out. We're thinking about lifting and reaching through the back of the leg, lifting the heels, keeping your heart smiling wide, and breathing for 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees and lower down. Good. Release. Good. I'm seeing some smiles, so you either hate me or love me. That's good. We're going to do a new exercise here. It's called, what is it called? Hip twist. So just watch first. It starts from this same teaser position. Full extension is the full exercise. You can also do it with bent knees. I'm going to inhale at the top. On the exhale, I'm going to circle the legs around and then inhale at the top. And then we'll come down together. Make sense? And again, you can do this with bent knees, so it's not quite as, and you can also adjust how far you're leaning back. Sometimes that'll help with the extension of the legs. The more you lean back, the more it'll take the weight out of the legs. Let's try it. So we're gonna inhale tall. Exhale. Take your arms out to the side. Inhale into the sides and backs of your ribs. Exhale, draw your navel in and up and hinge back. Take a breath here. And then exhale, lift the legs one at a time. We're both together, the knees bent or extended. Inhale at the top and exhale, little circle. So that circle doesn't need to be very big. Inhale at the top and exhale, circle. Inhaling at the top, exhale, smooth breath and circle all the way around. Keep thinking about extending out the hip joint, reaching through the back of the legs. 2 more, you got this. Inhale, exhale. Take a breath. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, exhale, roll up. Extend the legs out and round your back over. Knees can be nice and bent here. And take a breath. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to roll down to our backs here. Release those legs for a sec. So you can just come to your side and back, or you can take a roll down. With a roll down, we take our hands down to the floor or out in front, shoulders back. Take a breath into your ribs. And then on your exhale, curl back one vertebrae at a time, rounding through the spine, rounding all the way down. Try not to reach out of your shoulder sockets. Keep the shoulders plugged in, rounding back all the way to the floor. Good. And from here, we're going to do a little stretch for the psoas. So you're probably really feeling your hip flexors right now. That's normal. We're going to take our feet on the floor. And first, we're just going to find our imprint spine. So we're just going to do that pelvic rock. On your inhale, arch your spine away. And on your exhale, round back. So on the inhale, pelvic bowl rolls forward. And on the exhale, rolls back, and you're flattening into the low back. Nice and nice little release for the lumbar spine. And one more here. And then we're going to keep the back flattened into the floor. So you're using your lower abdominals to keep that back flattened, so it's not in neutral. Inhaling into your ribs, and on your exhale, we're going to slowly slide one leg out. So with the back flat, it's going to create a little bit of a stretch in the front of the leg, and then inhale back. Exhale, sliding opposite leg. So feel that resistance as you keep your back flattened into the floor. You create a little bit more of a pull on that muscle that is attached from your back in through to the leg. Good. And you may not get the leg all the way straight. Most important thing here is you're keeping your back flattened down. Beautiful. And then from there, release your spine back to neutral. So a reminder for neutral spine, your pubic bone and your hip bones are parallel to the floor, so you're not flattened back, you're not arched. You've got like a nice natural C curve in your low back. And we're going to engage the transverse again. It's your laugh or cough muscle. So if you laugh or cough, you can feel that muscle working. So drawing the navel in and up. And then from here, we're just going to inhale, open the knees out towards the sides, away from you. Feet stay on the floor. And then on the exhale, squeeze like you've got a spring between your legs and you're squeezing it back together. So on the inhale, the knees float out. And on the exhale, the knees come back to parallel. So you can do this and not do any work, but you're actually going to try to give yourself some resistance. So you're really working here. So if I was in person with you, I would take my hands and put them on the insides of your knees so that when you came back, when they were coming back, I would push away. So you'd have to push against the resistance of some hands, or you can, again, imagine a spring between your legs. And notice that as you do this, there starts to be a little bit of a wrapping of the inner thigh inwards. And maybe you can start to feel how that engages up into the pelvic floor. So on the exhale, squeeze inner thigh connected to the pelvic floor, connected to the belly. So this inner thigh line is connected to your core. With every inhale, opening out. And with every exhale, squeeze. Nice. One more here. Good. Stabilizing and neutral. Inhale into your ribs. We'll do our knee float on your exhale. Bring one leg up to tabletop. And then on the inhale, release it down. Exhale, opposite leg up. So again, deceptively simple, but what we're doing here is we're stabilizing in neutral so that your spine is not moving, your pelvis isn't moving, and you're going to think about now adding onto this one that little hip extension. So instead of just lifting straight up from the hip, you're going to think out and around as if there was a tennis ball right at your hip flexor and you're trying to scoop around it internally in that hip socket. So releasing to come up. And here your transverse is working. Exhaling to lift and inhale down. 1 or 2 more, even it out. Beautiful. And then from there, we're going to extend both legs all the way down. From here, check out your pelvis. Make sure it's neutral again. Pubic bone and hip bones aligned. You can even keep your hands here if you want to make sure that it's not moving. Inhale into the ribs. Now we're going to add a leg slide onto this. So on the exhale, I'm going to slide one leg up and then all the way up to tabletop. Inhale at the top and exhale, foot down and extend. So it's that same knee float position, but we're adding a leg slide on top of it. Inhale at the top and exhale, switching legs each time. So imagine that you're lifting the leg from the core. I like to imagine like there's a puppet master in my belly, and this puppet master has strings to my legs. And so that puppet master is actually what's lifting, even though I'm not moving anything in the pelvis. Now, if you want a little more here, you can glue the legs together, and on the exhale, do both legs at once. Really make sure here that you're not flattening back as you come up or arching down as you come down. So as the legs are coming down, I'm resisting the weight of the legs by drawing my navel back. Inhaling, exhaling up, and inhaling down. So this becomes our foundation for a lot of exercises on our back. And we're gonna release this, which we're gonna do. So I've got a lot of review in here. So if you weren't in all the classes, don't worry about it, just you'll figure it out. We're going to come into single leg stretch. So we're gonna take our hands behind the base of the skull. Do that same leg float position. Again, you can do one leg at a time, especially if you have any low back problems. Sometimes that's a good idea, or you can do both legs at once. So we're going to inhale into the ribs. Exhale, leg slide up to tabletop. Taking a breath here. If you've got the other leg, you can do that one. We're going to inhale, nod the nose to lengthen the back of the neck. And on the exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor, head float. Neutral spine here. We're going to extend one leg. Inhale, inhale, switch. Exhale, exhale. Option to bring the hands to the knees. Pressing your legs as if you were pressing them through honey. Keeping your upper back lifted. Keeping your belly flattened back. 2 sips in through the nose, 2 out the mouth. Really engaging your upper abs to stay lifted. Eyes to your thighs. For 5. Stay lifted. 3. 2. 1 more. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale, stay lifted, knees come in. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders roll down. Take a breath there. And exhale with control, legs slide down and away. Trying not to arch the spine as you come down. Nice, beautiful. And then we're going to come right into a little roll here. So we're going to keep the hands flattened down beside you, shoulders down on the floor. Inhaling into the ribs. On your exhale, legs slide up. Again, one at a time or both together. This time we're going to extend the legs towards the sky. And on the inhale, we're going to send the legs away from you, trying not to arch the spine. And then on the exhale, we're going to lift the legs up, rounding into the low back. Inhaling the legs away. And exhale, think about lifting the legs to the sky more than over your head. So you're trying to touch the ceiling rather than the floor by your head. And what we're doing is we're dropping the lower abs down to lift the tailbone, just an inch off the floor, so you don't have to come very far. See if you can relax your shoulders. So even though you're working here, everything else is relaxed. Pilates is all about finding the place of most ease, strength through ease and length. Good. Let's do 3 more, please. Lower belly should feel nice and warm. And of course, option to do these with the knees more bent than me. Good. Inhale at the top. And exhale, let's just hug the knees into the chest. Good. And we'll stir the knees around and in. Really here, releasing that hip joint and switch directions. And really here, notice your femur bone in your hip socket. That's what a lot of today's focus is. Notice here if there's any areas that feel crunchy, trying to get a nice smooth knee stir here. Good. And we're going to take the legs down and send them away. Beautiful. So this next exercise, you can just watch first before you come into it. It's a new exercise. This one's called leg circles. So I'm going to inhale into the ribs, engage the transverse. And on the exhale, I'm going to leg slide one leg up to the sky. And with all of these, the knees can be as bent as you need to. Everyone's hamstrings are at different levels of tightness. I'm going to inhale at the top, exhale to do a circle. So what I don't want to see is this with the hips. So notice how my hips are just rocking around. I'm not really doing anything here. So I'm really, really, really stabilizing through the body. And that little stir is creating me a lot of work for my transverse to stabilize there. So it's an inhale at the top and then exhale to stir. The bigger the circle is, the harder it will be. So start with smaller circles and really work on that stabilization. Make sense? Great. Okay, so we'll talk through it. Hands down beside you, shoulders relaxed, breathing into your ribs. On your exhale, legs slide up. Toe towards the sky. Take a breath at the top. And exhale, circle. Keep going in the same direction. Inhale at the top. Exhale to circle. Switch directions. Inhale, exhale. Really stabilizing the body. Last one, inhale at the top, exhale, bend the knee and legs slide down. We'll go right into the other side. Inhaling into the ribs. Exhale, drawing the navel in and up as you legs slide up. Inhale at the top and exhale to circle in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Giving that hip socket a little massage too. Switch directions. Stabilizing the opposite hip down. Trying to prevent that rocking of the pelvis. Last one. Inhale at the top and exhale lower. Good. Take a breath into your belly. Next exercise is corkscrew. It's a combination of the last two exercises. So watch this one again. I'm going to do that leg slide, both legs. This time, I'm going to inhale to do that lift. So I'm lifting the tailbone by rolling into the low back and dropping my lower abs. And then I'm going to come down to one side and exhale, circle around. Inhale, lift, and exhale, circle around. So with this one, it can feel easy to use momentum. If you're using a lot of momentum, maybe challenge yourself to use more of your core and slow it down. Cool? Let's do it together. Arms can be a little wider for this one if you like. We're going to inhale into the ribs. Exhale, glue the legs together, squeeze, slide up to the sky. Inhale to lift and exhale, circle. Inhale, lift, and exhale, circle in the opposite direction. So engaging the obliques to come around. It's very similar to that hip twist we did on when we were seated. And I almost feel like I'm massaging around the sides of my sacrum as I come around and up. Inhaling to lift, exhaling around. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Let this come from the low belly. Little stirring and massage for the sacrum. 2 more. Good. Inhale, exhale here. Hold the legs up. You're going to inhale and exhale as slow as you can. We're going to extend them down to the floor. You can bend your knees if you like, especially if you have any low back problems. Make sure that you don't arch your spine as you come down. Keep breathing, extend, extend, keep breathing. Draw the navel back in opposition. A little bit of internal shaking is good. Keep going. Draw back to prevent that arch. We're going to extend all the way down until you come to the floor. And then once you're on the floor, give everything a nice big shake. Shake out your legs. Maybe give them a little piston up and down. Nice one. Let's roll it over onto our side. How's that feeling for you? Good. Ow. Yeah. Great. So we're going to come onto our side and let's come into clamshells. So we're going to come right away onto, you can either have your hand on your head like this or just be lying on your bicep, whatever's more comfortable for you. We're going to bring the feet in alignment with the hips so the knees are forward. And if you remember back all the way to the first class, if you were here, we're going to extend that top hip down and away a little bit to prevent this collapse of the spine. Knees are stacked here. So engaging your transverse, that corset muscle. On the inhale, we're going to open the knees. And on the exhale, we're going to drop them back down. So if you remember from first class, we're trying to prevent the whole pelvis from rocking like this. We're keeping it stable so that those hip bones stay stacked. So you're resisting with the body as you extend up. And that work is into the glute rotator. Every exhale, we exhale out the mouth with that nice ha to remind us to connect to our core, that ha muscle. From here, we're going to inhale, open. On the exhale, rotate from the hip socket and bring the knees together. Inhale, toes together. And exhale, knees together. This one's called hacky sack. And again, letting this just be a true rotation in the hip joint rather than any movement in the actual pelvis. Beautiful. Your butt should be starting to feel nice and warm. One more here. And then stop where your knees are together. From this knee together position, we're just going to pulse up. Keep that leg rotated in. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees back together. Inhale, toes back together. And then squeeze the leg back as far as you can before your hip moves. Squeeze back, 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 like you're trying to touch your knee to the back wall. And release. Good. Drop that knee in front and give your hip, your glute a little massage. Yeah. Everyone feel that? It's one of my favorite glute exercises. Gets right in there. Good. We'll pop up onto the bottom arm here. We're going to rotate that shoulder in and down. So we're plugging into the shoulder, fingertips towards the corner. We're going to bring that bottom knee down in line with the wrist. So your wrist, knee, ankle are all aligned, shoulder blade plugged in right over the wrist, coming into a half side plank here. Beautiful. So check it out. Some of you I can already tell are not actually shoulder over the wrist. You want to get that nice alignment. Don't blow out your shoulder. This exercise is not about the shoulder at all. It's about the rest of your body, your core. Beautiful. Then from here, we're going to lift that top leg. So remember at the beginning when we rotated out versus rotated in, slight rotation in to lift from the back of the leg. So we're lifting from the heel. Good. From here, we're going to do a double kick forward. On the exhale, point, back, flex forward, and back. So here, upper body is not moving. So you're stabilizing in opposition to the leg kicking. And this weird little breath from Joseph Pilates, founder of Pilates. He was working with some people who had asthma and other breathing stuff. So this breathing technique is also just for breath control. Beautiful. Long exhale, 2 more. Good, bring the leg back beside you. Inhale, lift up and over with the arm. Little stretch, and we'll lower down. Good. We'll do a second set of that, and you have the option of staying in this position with the knee down. If you want more, you can extend the bottom leg and stack the feet. So I'll do that one just so you can see what that position's like. We're going to take a breath in. Exhale to lift up. Keep that shoulder blade plugged in. Good. And we can keep your hand on your hip for this one. We're going to bring that top leg up. And then this time, just rotate the knee down a little, heel towards the sky. We're going to exhale to lift. Inhale down. Try not to drop your bottom hip. 2 more. Good, lower down. Bend your knees, the arm that's on the bottom, lift it up and over and give it a little stretch to the side. And you can circle out that wrist too. Oh, it feels so good. Good. Let's take it to the other side. So I don't know about you, but I feel like this whole side of my body into the glute is really feeling nice long connection there. So other side. Yes, that's the side we just worked, right? Okay. So again, same thing. We're going to come back to our clamshells here. Finding your feet next to your hips or in alignment with your hips. Remember to extend that top hip away. And we're going to inhale to open and exhale to close. This is a core exercise as much as it's an exercise for your butt because you're stabilizing and not letting that hip drop back as you come back. Oceanic breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. One more here. We'll take it to hacky sack. So inhaling to open, exhale, rotate at the hip, drop the knees together. Inhale to touch the toes and exhale to touch the knees. They don't have to actually touch. That's just where you're going. And the action is actually more in just the rotation of the hip joint and making sure you're not moving your pelvis. So most people think they're not moving their pelvis, but still are. That's often what happens here. So really stabilizing and letting this all come from the leg, working on that rotation. Also great for increasing some flexibility in the hip joint. Two more. Beautiful. We're going to stop with the knees together, and from this position, little pulse up. Nice. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees back together. Inhale, toes together. Squeeze that knee back. Squeeze your glutes together. And release down. Nice. Pop up onto that bottom arm. We're going to rotate that arm in and down. So we're rotating the fingers out to plug the shoulder blade in. Bring the knee back, knee, wrist, foot aligned. We come up from here. Good. And then making sure that your shoulder is still stacked right above the wrist. Good. Make this as nice as possible for your shoulder. We're going to lift the leg, slight inward rotation. We're going to double kick forward. Inhale, inhale, point the toe and reach back. So the toes coming in front of the body and behind. And if you've got pets who like to come and throw off your balance, that means you just get a nice extra challenge. Very good. Inhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Come back to center, lower down and take a breath. Good. And all of these exercises can be done without the leg kick too, if that's feeling like a lot today. Good. Second set, you can do the exact same leg position or option to bring both legs and stack them. Shoulder blade in, come up. Good. Make sure everything is stacked here. Find that a beautiful alignment. And then we're going to take that top leg, slight flex. We're going to exhale up and inhale down. Keep that bottom hip lifted. Three more. Good. Take one more breath here. Exhale, lower down. Bend the knees. Arm that was on the bottom. Reach up and over. Beautiful. And option for a little wrist circle both directions. Releasing into a nice belly breath here. And letting it go. Okay. Good. Let's come onto our belly. Now, we're going to do a few exercises that are going to get into the hamstrings. And I know at least one of you needs to avoid too much back extension. So all of these exercises can be done with your head on the floor and just focusing on the legs. So that's always an option for you. You're going to take your elbows, if you are up on here, elbows can just be underneath the shoulders. This is just a little foundation. So it's the exact same one we did at the beginning where we're extending the hip out of the hip socket. So you'll notice on me, if I just lift the leg, I'm really just working kind of back here. But if I extend out first, notice how my glute kind of expands when I do that. So I'm going to extend out and then lift from there and release back. Now here you also want to keep your lower abs engaged. So notice how my belly lifts when I do that. So just keeping a little bit of engagement there to support the spine. So we're going to inhale to extend the leg out and exhale to lift and lower. Inhale, extend the opposite leg out. Exhale, little lift and lower. So this is the secret to growing a little taller, just making those legs a little longer. Keep that belly engaged. I'm creating more spaciousness in the leg here. Good. And then from here, we're going to do some single leg kicks. So again, this can be done on the floor or just where we are up here. I'm just going to do a double leg kick, double inhale, and then exhale, extend, option to really reach. So notice my knee comes off the floor as I do that, reaching out and back. The hamstrings really start to feel this one. And I have tight hamstrings, so I really feel it. So it's an inhale, inhale, exhale, kick and lift. Let's do that together. And again, you can be doing this on the belly without the chest lifted. And I know at least one of you has some knee stuff too. You don't have to kick the leg that far in. It can just be a little kick and then a reach. So I'm really feeling the whole back line here. Keep that belly engaged and lifted, even if your chest is on the floor. One more on each side. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower your upper body. And then just give your hips a little sway side to side. Yeah, take a nice side breath in and a long sigh out. Double leg kicks here. So watch this one because I don't want you to be in this exercise and cranking your head at the same time. So I'm going to start with my cheek towards one side and my hands behind me on my low back, just kind of hanging out there. I'm going to either have hips distance apart or you could glue the feet together. We're going to kick both of them at the same time. So inhale, inhale. It's that same idea. On the exhale, I'm going to extend, reach my arms, lift everything. Remember, we're not cranking the neck, so we're keeping everything long. And then when I lower, I turn my chin to the other side, do a double kick and extend again. So it looks like this. And on and on. Sound good? Beautiful. All right. Cheek to one side. Oh, and again, if back extensions are not great for you, you could just work on the double kicks. This will still really get into those hamstrings. And with that kick, we're thinking about keeping space in the back of the knee. So that idea of that tennis ball in the hip, we also want in the back of the knee. So you're reaching out and around. So hands to the low back, cheek to one side, and we go double kick, inhale, inhale, exhale, lift everything, cheek to the other side, inhale, inhale, exhale, lift. See if you can keep your navel pulled in and let that lift come from the back more than the belly popping up. Nose to the floor, keeping the back of the neck long. Keep it going. Inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Beautiful. Release down, give your hips a little shake. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, press up, push back into either child's pose or melting heart pose. It's a nice long stretch for the spine. Good. Take a nice belly breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And from here, we'll roll onto our front or onto our hands. So remembering our arm foundations, we're going to rotate the shoulders down by rotating the arm bones outwards, fingertips towards the corners of your mat. And then from here, we can walk the legs back into half plank from the knees. So this is your first option, and we're going to do that same breath, same leg kick, just from the other side now. So if you've got the knees here, we're just going to lift, and then drop and bend the knee. Or if you want to do the full version, you come off the knees, and it's just a little inhale, inhale, exhale. So this is a little squeeze through the glute. And we're not arching into the back. We're keeping the belly lifted, keeping the back of the neck long, and keeping the shoulder blades plugged down the back. Four more. Last one. Good. Bend the knees, press your hips back, downward facing dog. If it feels good to pedal out the dog, you can, bending the knees one at a time. And bending both knees, walk your hands back to your feet, keeping that nice neutral spine. And take a moment here in a forward fold. So take any version of forward fold that feels good to you. Knees nice and bent, maybe grabbing the elbows or your toes. You can shake out your head. No, thank you. And nod. Yes, yes, yes. Tilting the hip bones up towards the sky. And then grounding the feet one vertebrae at a time. We're going to roll all the way up to standing, slowly rolling all the way up. So, of course, lots of options for standing exercises here. Let's just do some leg circles. So we're going to start rotating the arms out and up, nice round circle, shoulder blades down the back. On the exhale, we're going to shift the weight to one leg and extend the opposite leg forward. Good. See if you can keep your hips in neutral here. And the leg can be as high as you like. Foot can be pointed or flexed. And we're just going to do those leg circles up here. So we're going to go inhale, 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 and exhale, 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 exhale. Switch directions. Exhale. Take a breath here. Exhale without dropping the foot. We're just going to take it down and then to the side. Flex the foot and lift from the back of the foot. Slight rotation in, and we'll circle here. Inhale, 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 exhale, 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 exhale. Switch directions. Take a breath here. And then we're exhale, we're going to reach the leg back behind, so I'm leaning forward slightly to keep a nice long spine. And from here, circle, inhale, 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 exhale, exhale, exhale. Switch directions. Take a breath. Exhale, bring your feet back to the floor. And then exhale, round the arms down. Beautiful. So we're really just stirring in the hip socket there. Nice release for the hip. And reaching out through the leg. Let's try the other side. Inhaling, arms around and up, slightly in front of you. Exhale, extend the opposite leg. Good. So again, here, just checking out your neutral pelvis, seeing how high you want that leg. The legs, the circles can be small. The point is here is to stabilize in your standing position. And we're going to go inhale, 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 exhale. Switch directions. Take a breath here. Exhale, reach the foot to the slide, slight rotation inwards, heel to the sky, and we go circle, 2, 3, 4. Keep circling. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Switch directions. This can be really good for the brain too. Maybe one way feels easier than the other. And then reach back behind you, long spine, and we go inhale, Switch directions. Take a breath in. Exhale, release the foot down. Take a breath in and exhale to the side. Good. Roll the shoulders up, down, and back. Good. Let's come back to the mat, and we're just going to come to the back of the mat. Take a breath in, reach to the sky. On the exhale, dive forward, bend the knees. Inhale, walk your hands forward into plank. Exhale in your plank. Inhale, drop the chest and lift it slightly. Exhale, reach back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in your down dog. Exhale, bend the knees and drop back into child's pose. Take a breath in your child's pose. And on your exhale, roll one vertebrae at a time all the way back up to your knees. And once you're on your knees, you can come back to seated. Come to center here. Good. Then from here, we're just going to take our hands onto our hip flexors with the thumb back and the palm of the hand facing down. Shoulders back. You can close your eyes, release your Pilates breath, and come into a nice deep belly breath. And as you inhale into your low belly, notice how your low belly is connected to your thighs. That psoas muscle where walking meets breathing. So as you release your belly, you also release your hip flexors. Reminding yourself here that you're safe and secure. There's no need to run or to go anywhere. And just taking a moment to fill yourself with gratitude for your legs, for these foundations of support that take you through your life, walk you through so many experiences. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. And exhale, return to prayer. Thank you. The light in me bows to that same light in you.